This screenshot right here has broken the investment internet because it shows proof of a 27-year-old ISA millionaire. Now, if you look carefully, you can see that their return has been over £950,000, and it comes as there is a growing number of ISA millionaires, of course, in the UK. The current numbers estimate that there are over 5,000 ISA millionaires living among us right now, and that number is projected to be in excess of 13,000 by the end of just this year alone. The average age of an ISA millionaire is over 70 years old, but there have been reports of ISA millionaires in their 20s and 30s. Now, given the fact that this person has become a millionaire in such a short amount of time, it raises a lot of questions to whether or not the government will step into ISAs, either reducing our allowance or reducing our ability to seriously gain tax-free wealth over short terms. Now, I too have a stocks and shares ISA with Trading 212, which is pretty far away from that £1 million mark. But I know that if I reached 7 figures anytime soon, it would be life-changing for me. Now, if you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, then all you have to do is to use the link in the description box down below. Now, if you're watching this on the TV, you can scan this QR code appearing on your screen right now. Alternatively, if you've already signed up to Trading 212 over the past 10 days but haven't received your free fractional share, then all you have to do is to press the 3 horizontal line menu at the bottom of the screen. Then scroll all the way down until you see the section Use Promo Code. And in this section, just enter the code JUBAIR and you should receive a free fractional share. Now, it's very important that you understand that I don't think that anyone can repeat what this guy has done. This is definitely a one-in-one, and I am not suggesting in any way, shape or form that you could become a millionaire by investing. Quite the contrary, actually. Very few people will actually be millionaires through investing. So this video is not financial advice or how to do anything. Now, this person was able to build a 7-figure portfolio being very, very risky in the stock market. You can go and check out the Reddit post. I'll link it down below. But essentially, this person was very, very risky. And right now, if I reached 7 figures doing such a risky thing, I would definitely diversify. In fact, sell out of everything and put it into an ETF. Remember, I'm not suggesting that an ETF is a safe investment, but surely it will be a bit safer than what they have done to come to this position. Now, essentially what they did do is to invest into infrastructure companies, 2 of them, a bit of swing trading up and down, and yeah, they really hit a generational run with this. And the thing is, if you look at their rate of return, it is a positive £960,000. If we do the math and assume they only use Trading 212, they probably only invested £40,000. They have been investing for more than 4 years, so it's not necessarily maxing out their ISA every single year. But because we're not given too much information, let's just assume that they made a capital gain of £960,000. Then, if they weren't investing within a stocks and shares ISA, how much tax would they have had to pay? Now, obviously, this is assuming that they made the capital gain in the same tax year, but that would be a tax bill of, get this, over £230,000. Now, because they invested within a stocks and shares ISA, they will pay absolutely nothing in tax if they decided to withdraw all of this as cash. You know, I don't know what they would want to do, but that would be a pretty decent withdrawal. Now, this has increased concerns that the government might try and reduce our ability to gain long-term wealth like this in a stocks and shares ISA because they're going to be missing out on a lot of tax. Now, a missed opportunity for HMRC to collect over £200,000 of tax from one individual may signal them to start making changes, although, you know, this is just speculation. There's no guarantees of what they may do, but there is definitely a rising concern that the stocks and shares ISA may not exist how it has been over the past few decades in the coming decades. Now, if pensions are any indication, we've seen that pension changes have become quite the norm, but to the government's credit, they really haven't gone and changed many ISA rules, the latest being quite a shock with the cash ISA rules, reducing the allowance down from £20,000 per tax year to an allowance of only £12,000. Now, you could argue that the government wants more people to invest instead of putting money into a cash ISA, but could this also be a trap as more people become invested to introduce new taxes or withdrawal reductions that might push people into newer brackets or even create a wealth tax trap? Nobody knows, and there are no guarantees. But one thing is for certain, as more years roll on and the £20,000 allowance keeps getting added on, there will be more and more people that get pushed into 7-figure portfolios, which will mean less tax for HMRC. Now, as an investor, the Stocks and Shares ISA honestly feels like a cheat code. It feels like the best gift we've ever received from the government, and sometimes I do think it's too good to be true. I have maxed out my Stocks and Shares ISA every single year since I started maxing it out back in 2021, and it feels like if I can't max out my Stocks and Shares ISA, that I'm potentially stealing away from my future because I don't know when the rules are going to change. Now, personally, if I ever reached a 7-figure portfolio, I would imagine that would be enough for me to start retiring. I'm not sure exactly what I would do, but the 4% rule states that you could take out around 3 to 4% of the total value of your portfolio, which is around £30,000 or £40,000 per year, and your portfolio wouldn't be really destroyed within 30 years-ish time. Of course, this is an old study on old figures and people are living longer, so there's no guarantee you can even take out 3 or 4%. Now, someone on Reddit has actually done the math, and the Stocks and Shares ISA was introduced back in 1987, where the actual allowance was back then £3,000. It's been less than a decade now where the government has increased the allowance to £20,000, where it has stayed there for around 9 years. But anyway, even this table is outdated. It ends at 2022, but it says if you had invested since 1987, maxed out your ISA basically, and received an average annual return of 8%, which of course the S&P 500 during those dates would have done, then yeah, congratulations. If you have been investing for that long, you probably would have a 7-figure portfolio by now. But since this table has been made, we've had another £80,000 in total allowance added on, which means the average annual return you would have needed would be significantly less than 8%. I won't be bothering to do the math there, but I'm guessing around 7%. So like I said, in another 10 years, if the allowance is still at £20,000 or even if it increases, it's definitely going to allow a lot more people to reach 7-figure portfolios. But remember, nothing is guaranteed. There are no guarantees that if you start investing now, you'd have a 6-figure portfolio, a 7-figure portfolio, or even a 5-figure portfolio. Whenever you're investing, your capital is at risk, and don't forget that. So most ISA millionaires under the age of 40 or even 50 have probably only got there because of the risk that they've taken. And personally, I would never take those risks because yes, there's potential to make money, but no one really thinks about the downsides if something goes wrong. So make sure to check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you in the next video.